Good evening, y'all. I'm Amanda Hernandez. I'm the Director of Communications with the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. I'm here today to tell y'all that Mr. Roberson did receive a stay. I had the opportunity to go back there to speak with him, and he was shocked, to say the least. He praised God and he thanked his supporters. And that's pretty much what we have to say at this time. He'll go back to the Polensky unit, and then we'll proceed from there. We do have a few representatives who would like to say a few words, Representatives Busey and Hull. But before we do that, are there any few questions that I could answer for y'all?
Amanda, do you know that if this were to get sent back to the judge in Palestine, could they reschedule another execution date? And is there a certain amount of time that has to wait before that date can be scheduled?
I don't know that right now. We'll have to look at everything and work with the courts and the Attorney General's office to figure out what it all means.
So what happens next?
What happens next is that he will be transported back to the Polensky unit, and we will continue to just work through the courts.
Will he be transferred to Austin for this hearing on Monday, or how will that work?
We'll work with the Attorney Generals and look at everything and then go from there.
So essentially at this point there's nothing on schedule as far as an execution date or anything. He's just going to be back in the...
That is correct, yes. So he'll just return back to the Polensky unit.
What was his reaction when you heard that you said you talked to him?
Yeah, so he was shocked. He thanked his supporters. He praised God. He claimed his innocence.
And so just to reiterate for all of our viewers, this is not final. This still has to go through, it can still move through the court system. Can you explain that?
For tonight, this is what is happening. So he did receive the stay for tonight. What happens after that, we'll have to see.
So he will be at the hearing on Monday then?
I cannot speak to that. I am not sure.
Okay. Was he by himself when you told him?
Re-ask your question a different way?
Did he have any family or anyone with him?
No, he did not have anyone like that with him.
What has his night been like? Has he been kept in a cell?
Yes, he's been in the cell, yes.
Has he been alone this whole time while everything's been fluctuating?
He would have had the opportunity to visit with his spiritual advisor or attorney if he wished earlier this afternoon, and he would have had the opportunity to make phone calls earlier this afternoon, but I'm not sure what all he elected to do at that time.
So from 6 until when you told him, he was completely unaware of what was unfolding?
I wouldn't know that for sure. All right.
Was he alone today? Did he have any family here?
He did have witnesses scheduled to attend, but he wouldn't have seen them. All right.
Was he far enough along in the procedure? Was he in the death chamber at that point?
No.
Have you ever had a stay issued this late?
I'm fairly new to this role, so I couldn't answer that.
Did you tell him, or did he already know that it was stopped?
We told him, the officials told him together at the same time, so I was back there whenever he was told. Thank you. We'll have the representatives come and speak now.
I'm Lacey Holt, State Representative from Houston, and I just want to say praise God. I am proud to be a member of the Texas House. I am so grateful for all of my House colleagues who have worked to help Robert, for the House Criminal Jurisprudence Committee, for Chairman Moody, for Chairman Leach, and so thankful and appreciative of the Supreme Court. And I look forward to welcoming Robert to his Texas House, to his Texas Capitol on Monday.
Everyone, I'm State Representative John Busey from Williamson County. I join with Representative Hull in being thankful that this stay was put in today. We're so thankful for the work of the Texas House. For 22 years, this man has been held in prison on death row, and we're hoping that finally, with this ruling today, with the state and the Supreme Court's decision, that the Texas House will be able to help bring to light the truth in this case. We believe this to be an innocent man where the facts have not come out, and we're hoping this hearing will give that opportunity for the people of Texas to finally hear the facts here. Again, I want to praise the work of the Texas House. Over 80 members, bipartisan coalition from across the spectrum, have worked hard to make sure that this execution did not move forward today, because we want to make sure justice is served. And it's been a strong effort, bipartisan effort, and we're also just so thankful for Robert tonight. As you have been told, he is a man of faith. We both have had the opportunity with some of our colleagues to meet with him, as we did just over 2 weeks ago. as a man of faith, he is so thankful to God for this decision. He's thankful to his supporters that are out there. He's thankful to the Texas House, his lawyer, and everyone else. And he was just joyful tonight. As y'all have heard, that's what we were reported as well. And he knows this isn't over. He wants the truth to come to light, and the Texas House is working to do that. And we hope that the courts and others will follow suit.
Given all the appeals and the evidentiary hearing in 2021, what impact are you hoping you can have on his case at this point? It seems like he's out of appeals at this point.
Look, while he is still breathing, there is still time to bring the truth to light. And we, the Texas House in 2013 and then again in 2015, strengthened the junk science law, referred to as the junk science law. We feel there is fear that it has not been utilized properly in this case and other cases. That is part of what the hearing on Monday is hoping to hear, and we needed Robert to be there as a first-hand account to be able to testify to how it's been used in his case, and it's bigger than him. It's about, is this law that the Texas House, the Texas legislature, then signed in 2015 by Governor Abbott, has put into place, is it being implemented properly?
But what actions can the legislature take to directly impact his case at this point?
Well, right now we can help continue to bring awareness to his case, hopefully bring the truth to light, and there are still many people that have the ability to take action in this case, from the governor to the courts to the parole board.
What was it like in there tonight?
Do you want to add to that?
Look, it's solemn and
yeah. The question is, what was it like in there tonight? We were in our own room with us and some of the members of TDCJ throughout the night. We were in regular contact with a lot of our colleagues that are working around the clock on this issue, and we were just full of hope. I mean, prayer going on here, prayer going on back home, and just holding out hope and faith that something would happen tonight. As you know, we believe, having looked at many hours of this evidence and heard many hours of testimony, that this is an innocent man, and that there's too much shadow of a doubt in this case, and that this should not move forward. So we were relieved, and we were holding out hope throughout the entire night that we were out in there today.
Could you just speak to the unprecedented nature of this case? Obviously, there was so much back and forth today. We had heard if he had been executed, it would have been the first execution for a shaken baby syndrome case, and then, of course, it was the first time the legislature has done something like this, issuing a subpoena for an inmate on death row to sort of halt the execution. Just the rarity and sort of the historic nature of what's happened.
Yeah. Absolutely. I agree. This was a unique move, decision done today. It has been back and forth. I'm sure that back and forth is traumatic for Robert and the experience. But we know now that it ended, at least temporarily, with this stay and relief for him for tonight. We're not taking that for granted. We know that this is not a done deal, and we need to continue to bring light. I think what the House Committee is doing, as they said yesterday in their hearing, it's bigger than Robert. Robert is just one of the key people that can speak to if this law is being effectively used. It goes beyond Robert, and Robert knows that. I think when we met with him 2 weeks ago, not specific to this, but he talked about how he hopes his story is going to be an example to help others, and that's what I know he would have faith that this action tonight will hopefully lead not just to showing the truth in his case, but the truth in other cases where maybe the junk science bill has not been utilized to its full extent. And we need to make sure that happens. And again, that is why this subpoena was issued, because he has a unique experience to tell, and we need to hear that testimony in committee on Monday.
What do you say to Governor Abbott, who had an opportunity to delay this execution for at least for up to 30 days? We haven't heard anything from him today.
Question is, what do we say to Governor Abbott? I would say this. I hope he and his team will listen to the testimony in the committee next week. I think more will continue to come to light in this case. The final decision never had to come down tonight because of the court proceeding, so he will still have his opportunity to make his voice heard and act as well. And we continue to implore on the governor to do that decision if it becomes necessary to intervene. But we're thankful that the courts intervened tonight. We're thankful that opportunity still resides with the governor for a potential positive necessary in the future. And we just hope that justice will be done here. And we think that this pause today allows for a better chance for that opportunity to happen.
Do you see potential constitutional changes? Because this is brought up an interesting point that apparently has not been brought up before, a subpoena from legislators actually preventing an execution. And the Supreme Court's ruling didn't really fully answer that question. It simply said that TRO was appropriate, but that's a bigger constitutional issue that's going to have to be answered.
Well, and I briefly skimmed what the Supreme Court said, and it did allude that this maybe needs to be looked at legislatively in other branches of government to do that. You know, I think our main focus is he is a key person to come and testify about the effectiveness of this. The House Committee's decision yesterday was to make sure that this legislation is working effectively, and that's why he's important to come here. I mean, we always look at legislation, but I will tell you this, it's not a concern. This is a broad, bipartisan coalition that is working on this together, from very liberal members to incredibly conservative members and members in between. It's because those of us that have looked at the evidence in this case are confident that action needs to be taken to stop this execution.
Two quick questions. Will he testify in person in Austin?
I don't know that we know. I don't know the answer to that. I don't know if Representative Hull knows the answer to if it'll be in person or virtual. But whether it's in person or virtual, you know, we and I know we speak for Chairman Moody and Chairman Leach and the others that have worked on this, are eager to hear his testimony and welcome him in person or virtually to the Texas House to tell his story.
And if the Anderson County court or judge wants to wake up tomorrow and say we're going to schedule a new execution date, regardless of what's going on elsewhere, I believe there's like a 90-day period. The next date can't be scheduled for 90 days. Is that your understanding? Or?
I don't know the specifics on how the reschedules work. I know it is a process that has to, but I don't know the specifics.
The Attorney General raised all kinds of issues in challenging the appeals. Are they just wrong?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
The Attorney General challenged the appeals, opposed your efforts. Are they just wrong?
Do you have? I'm happy.
Yes. Yes.
You know, I think, you know, they went to the criminal court. This was not a criminal issue dealing with the state legislature. That's why they went to the Supreme Court on this. But yeah, I would say they're wrong. I would say you need to look at the evidence of this case, and that happened by a bunch of House members that are taking this seriously. And that's why you see such a unique coalition working on this. To your question, the committee hearing, and neither one of us actually serve on the committee. We were in attendance for it yesterday, but it has been posted yesterday, and it is scheduled for Monday. The hearing is scheduled for noon on Monday, I believe.
One other question. Are you hoping that with this hearing and with Robert's testimony, are you hoping to actually change the junk science law again that will be able to help Robert in this case?
I think the purpose of the committee hearing yesterday was to look if the junk science law is being effectively utilized by the courts, and if not, does it need to be changed in the upcoming session? So I think time will tell. I think Robert is one of the key people that can speak to how it has been utilized, and that's why it was so important to subpoena him to the upcoming hearing.
Especially as a man with autism, and his experience as a man with autism and going through the court process, even arriving at the hospital, how he was questioned, all of it. It matters when we were talking about this junk science statute and why he was not granted relief under it.
So you're hoping that it will be able to eventually help him personally in his case?
Just overall, in general, to understand why it was not followed here with the junk science statute and how we proceed.
Do you think the Attorney General's actions today had possibly any connection to retaliation for the impeachment proceedings?
You want to speak there? I'm happy to.
I would hope not. I mean, again, we have had a bipartisan support in this, and even within our Republican caucus, members who are very supportive of the Attorney General. So I would hope not, and I wouldn't think that would have anything to do with it.
Does this set a precedent for the legislature intervening in upcoming executions or other executions?
I wouldn't think so. I think, you know, there have been executions as of late, just recent in Texas, where you haven't seen this action. This is a unique case, and there have been a few along the way where you've seen such a bipartisan coalition, and it's because after looking at this evidence, it's hard to ignore that there's too much shadow of a doubt here, and that's why so many of us believe him to be an innocent man.
At any point tonight, did your folks weighing that this would be the outcome that we're talking about right now?
I don't think so. I think the group that we've been communicating with have had total hope and faith that this answer would come, that Robert would get the reprieve tonight, and that not just him, but hopefully a lot of people will be able to benefit from the upcoming hearing. And in the meantime, we hope that the courts and everyone else that has any power will continue to look closely at this case.
What's your end hope and your end goal for Robert? Is it new trial? Is it exoneration? What are you hoping for him?
I would love to see him get a new trial. There's so much that a jury has never heard, and that what we learned in the committee hearing yesterday was that there was so much that was thrown out on hearsay, medical experts, things that were not allowed. So he needs a new trial to have all of this properly heard. We are constantly hearing misinformation, false information from people who say they know this case when they clearly do not. And so it is very clear that he needs a new trial.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
And we want to thank TDCJ, who have been very professional in this process and have had a night of their own for making this available for all of us. Thank you all so much.
Yes, thank you.